Yay, congrats on getting married.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I'm married now, listeners, and I'm coming to you live from my honeymoon. Cheers!
Oh man, cheers.
Yeah, it's great. It's 2020, so just like everything, my honeymoon is just my apartment. So that's great.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, it's either that or just you're in a hotel and also can't leave that hotel. So, I mean, at that point, just be comfortable. So, hey man, congrats on getting married to your love. Congrats on those sweet tax breaks. But we got a podcast to record. And here's the crazy thing. The second you got married, all of a sudden, every single romantic comedy trailer went, all right, now's the time. We had a bunch of romantic comedy trailers dropped. We picked two of our favorites, and we'll be talking about those tonight. That includes Happiest Season, Black Beauty. And if you've seen the trailer for Black Beauty and went, that's just about a girl with a horse, she clearly has a thing for the horse. Maybe not romantically, but she's got a deep connection. We're counting it, and we're going to keep going from there. So raise a glass to James for him getting married and for his swell, quiet honeymoon in.
Here, here.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're trailer hits.
I mean, Kevin, you're right. I mean, Black Beauty is not traditionally a romantic comedy, right?
Not traditional in the slightest, no.
But, I mean, the last thing we see in that trailer, and we'll get to it, is the name Kate Winslet involved.
Oh God, are we already spoiling that?
She was like one of the queens of romantic comedy. I mean, the holiday, guys. It's awesome. So she knows her ways around a rom-com. Maybe she can take Black Beauty in that direction. Time will tell. We'll get into it.
Time will tell. We'll give you the full details here on Trailer Hitch. Hi, welcome to Trailer Hitch. I'm Kevin.
Here on Trailer Hitch. Hi, welcome to Trailer Hitch. I'm James. And I'm married. We covered that. I wanted to say it again. The more I say it, the more real it feels because it's still getting used to the sound of that. You know.
Yeah, you still look down at your left hand and go, "What the hell is that?" Oh, right. But anyway, this is Trailer Hitch. We rate movie trailers. We rate them on a scale of need to see more, or never need to see. If James and I both give a trailer need to see rating, we celebrate. Then we go see the movie, report back to you guys in a segment called Trailer in the Rear View, in which we talk about the film in retrospect and talk about the trailer with it. Granted, yes, going and seeing a movie, far shorter walk these days. We're just going to our couches, we're streaming them. But that said, we are operating this under the predication of this is one of those early releases that you have to pay $20 on Amazon for. Would we be willing to do that? Even though, granted, sure, the two trailers that we'll be talking about today, Happiest Season and Black Beauty, will be streaming for free on various services, but would I want to pay $20? That's the question, and we're going to be answering that. But before we can talk about those two trailers, we got some courtesy honking to do, James.
Listeners, if you remember, or if you're a first-time listener, Courtesy Honk is a segment where we want to acknowledge that a couple other trailers came out, but maybe Kevin and I thought there might not be enough to really dissect them.
Correct.
But we want to give them their due diligence, right? We want to acknowledge from the road, honk, honk, we see you, we're acknowledging you, we're here for you. Just not as much as these other things which we have deemed more interesting to talk about.
Right. We were passing these trailers. They had a bumper sticker that said, honk if you review trailers. And so it's like, well, we do.
It's literally the point of this. So.
Exactly, yes. So we are going to be talking about two different trailers. We're honking two trailers here. And, we are talking about romantic comedies tonight, but just because we're talking about romantic comedies, we figured, well, let's also talk about things that we love, too, right? Not just romantic comedies. I have brought to the table a foreign trailer. So this is Another Round.
still saying what a life.
All right. Ideally, I pulled some trailer audio that's sort of relevant, but it's in Danish. So, oops. James and I usually will explain what happens in the trailer. Now more than ever, I should really do that. Another Round is a movie about a group of teachers who hear a theory that everyone's blood alcohol content should always be maintained at a 0.05%. And so they do an experiment where Monday through Friday, they only drink during work, and they have to keep a consistent blood alcohol content of 0.05%. Now, you hear this and you go, oh man, I just envisioned a comedy. Hang on a second. There's subtitles here. Is it not that funny? Here's the deal. I feel like with a comedy director, and that's not necessarily just American, I feel like just any comedy director would hear that premise and go, okay, we're loading the comedy first, and then we're going to have an undercurrent of drama right underneath that. What this movie does is it flips it. It's mostly the kind of humor where you go, oh, to yourself in a theater. It's not really laugh out loud all that much. The intellectual bullying in this trailer, and of course, intellectual bullying is when trailers throw up way too many critic quotes in a row.
Yeah.
The intellectual bullying does maintain that it's funny. I do kind of wish I saw a little bit more of that in this trailer. And additionally, one of those critic quotes calls it intoxicating. And I just wanted to throw out there, God damn it. How about you, James? What did you think?
So, I mean, I love the pun. I found zero humor in this. Zero. I would be like, when we started talking about this as like, there's some haha comedy, and I'm like, where was it? I mean, it starts off, and I'm like,
I think it's going for that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's going for that. Like, the button certainly is going for that. I didn't laugh, but it's what it's going for.
I mean, this starts off, and I'm like, well, this sounds like a sad experiment. And I mean, one like Mads Mikkelsen, he clearly isn't like a big drinker anyway, so he especially was like, I guess I'll do this for science. And so it already felt like they weren't that excited about it. They were begrudgingly doing it. And then they started getting so used to it that it goes even sadder by being like, oh, now we're all addicted and we want to get even drunker. And it's like, you're not doing that for science at this point. You're just all becoming alcoholics.
Yeah, of course.
And so it doesn't start off funny. It doesn't get funny, and it doesn't end funny, and it's just sad, and it makes me sad.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I was just like, maybe if Judd Apatow was directing this or something, it would have had a good trailer cut. I don't know.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why the drama isn't really working for me in the trailer is you're right. They don't really seem all that excited about it when they're talking about it. And I feel like if it is just a way to freshen their lives up, I think I needed to see the humdrumness or the depression of their normal lives dramatized a little bit more in the beginning, just so that way I could see, oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense why they would end up going here. Because, yeah, without that, it just seems like it's done on a whim. And it doesn't really seem to affect them too much in the beginning when it's, in quotes, fun. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, okay, now you're just alcoholics and you guys are spiraling out of control. Listen, I like Mads Mikkelsen as an actor, but of all of the adjectives that I would use to describe him in his roles, Laugh Riot is never in there. And that's not really changing based off this trailer.
Yeah, I mean, not even that like ha-nable role that he was in.
Oh, I get it.
Nable. Hannibal Lecter, you guys.
We're buying time. If you want to like pull out a whiteboard and write it out, folks listening like that way, it's there. I see the joke in my mind's eye, and I'm giving it a chef's kiss, but maybe even a baker's kiss. I'll go that far. But yeah. So you would go ahead and give this a last call then.
Yeah, no thanks.
Okay. Well, how about you talk to us about the trailer that you have brought to be honked?
I would love to, Kevin. So Kevin brought a foreign movie to the table. It's very Kevin. Nothing, and I mean that in a positive way. We don't get to talk a lot about those kinds of things. Cannes Film Festival is really when Kevin gets to own it.
It's like once a year. I just like vomit all of it out. Yep.
So I reveled in the chance for Kevin to bring something to the table, but it is worth mentioning that the only reason I basically did that is so that he would allow me to bring this to the table.
It was a very mutual trade. You came with this, and I went, fine, but if we do this, we have to talk about a foreign movie.
And I said, deal. That's probably the most fair trade we've ever done.
All right.
Okay, so what do I bring to the table, Kevin? I mean, it's Star Wars. It's always Star Wars.
You're damn straight it is.
So in a world where we have no idea when the next feature-length Star Wars movie will be coming out,
indeed,
I grasped at the blue milk straws here to just have something. Like, this might be the last Star Wars thing we talk about on this show, like in review fashion, until indefinitely. Like, I have no idea because we don't know when the next one's coming out. But this is the Star Wars Lego Holiday Special.
'Twas the night before Life Day, in a galaxy far, far away.
Looking good. Tree, food, decorations.
Coming together heroes were to celebrate the day.
Please be a cape. Please be a cape.
It's a wrap!
Have yourself a merry little Life Day.
Life Day?
Let your Wookiee be loud.
Okay.
From now on,
I get that one.
He'll be celebrating Life Day with all of his friends around. There you go.
Okay. What movie is Life Day from? Hang on. What movie is Life Day from? For the people, not me, of course, but the people who may not know, what movie is Life Day from?
So, Life Day, brought to you by the Wookiees from the planet Kashyyyk, is from the original Star Wars Holiday Special. That was a one-time only special, aired on
until
television.
It wasn't.
Aired on TV between A New Hope and between that and Empire Strikes Back. So
okay, I actually wanted to bring this up because, listen, we've talked a lot about Star Wars on this show. It's the only thing second to trailers and trailer hitch is Star Wars content.
Not nearly enough, Kevin, but go on.
We've talked a lot about Star Wars. That said, I have never gotten your opinion on the Star Wars Holiday Special. And all I know as a more casual fan of Star Wars is, 1, it exists, 2, it was really hard to find, and 3, pretty much everyone thought it was rough. But where are you at as a Star Wars aficionado?
Oh, it's rough, but I mean, it's funny in a kitschy way. Like, you don't, like, when you watch it, you know you're not supposed to be taking this as, like, canonical. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You are watching this as a outside of the normal canon Christmas special, even though they're talking not about Christmas, but about Life Day, and all the characters are calling each other the character names. It's a holiday special. And like, I think a diehard holiday special enthusiast will be like, no, it's canon and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not. No, like Jon Favreau will take things from the holiday special and like throw it into his Mandalorian show as like an Easter egg.
I didn't realize that.
Like a weapon that we've never seen outside of the holiday is like the Mandalorian's main weapon, you know, like that tuning fork looking thing.
Oh, no shit. That's crazy.
That is from the holiday special.
Oh,
So a lot of people, and like Life Day is technically canon, like they brought that into the books and stuff. So they reserve the right to take anything from it and make it canon, but that movie itself is not canon. It's not.
Yeah. Knowing
it's just like this kitschy thing. And most holiday specials are cringeworthy at best anyway.
Yes.
So if you watch it with that lens, it's kind of fun to watch. It's way too long. It's so long, Kevin. I don't even know how long it is, but it felt like an eternity. But it was kind of fun. So how can you bring that into the 21st century, make it fun for Star Wars fans of all ages, and also sell $1 billion worth of toys.
Yep.
And that would be Legos. And you know what? We watched this. There was some funny stuff in it. Mostly it's just kind of jokes that you would guess exactly where that joke is going. There was an energy to it that I really appreciated. There was a plot to it. It's like Rey finds a time traveling crystal that allows her to jump through all of your favorite moments throughout Star Wars history. That's kind of fun.
And that's their justification for having like Baby Yoda in it. That's their justification for being able to hop from like original trilogy to sequel trilogy to the prequels. And
exactly.
Yeah. And at some point, the Emperor ends up getting his hands on it too, and is like, yeah, but I'm going to be a dick with this. So yeah, that's your conflict. Like there is an actual story there.
Yeah, it's simple to follow. It looks very unoffensive and just like I can throw this on and probably just like enjoy myself and then maybe never watch it again. We'll see. Sure. But it's not, look, the trailer isn't that great, but the fact that I kind of like didn't know anything about this was wild.
I think the best thing that this trailer has going for it is it looks like a kid playing with his Legos, and he's just like having the most fun ever and, you know, cracking jokes and doing all those sorts of things. But that said, I do definitely think that this trailer and this special is definitely geared toward kids. And so a lot of the humor is stuff that an 8-year-old might say when they're joking watching a movie. Like there's a joke where Kylo Ren has a shirt off and someone goes, buddy, can you put on a shirt? And it's that level of humor. And so I think
they didn't do anything like additionally clever with that. It's like Kylo Ren didn't have a shirt on. Someone says, can you put a shirt on? Yep. That's literally what happened in The Last Jedi. You said the same line. It's not like you reinvented that and like mined a joke out of that. You didn't. You just said what was in the movie.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I would say that if you're like me and you're a more casual Star Wars fan, you're probably pretty safe to skip. But obviously, if you have like a son or nephews or you're 31 and love Star Wars, I would say, then maybe you'll be able to get something out of this trailer. It does sound like you definitely got a little bit more out of it than I did.
And again, I totally acknowledge that is primarily just based off of my own Star Wars bias that I was charmed by this. I have no delusions that just a casual Star Wars fan would find this remotely interesting.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we've honked. Damn it. We have honked. Yep. We've acknowledged those two trailers. We were speeding by, and we're now going into the main drag, where we are going to be talking about our featured reviews. And speaking of, this is definitely meant for kids, we are going to be starting with a movie that will be coming out on Disney Plus, and y'all better giddy up, because it's The Black Beauty.
That Mustang's got a real mean streak.
She's just angry. She was rounded up and taken away from her family.
What's her name?
I haven't given her a name yet.
I heard you lost your family, too. You really are beautiful. That's what I'll call you. Black Beauty.
It's all we know.
Oop, that's my bad. This isn't The Black Beauty, it's just Black Beauty. James, feel free to call me out if you hear me say anything wrong. Give me a neigh when you think that I've done something unbecoming. But this is Black Beauty. This is directed by Ashley Avis and written by her as well. This is starring Mackenzie Foy, Ian Glenn, and there's a special guest star, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Our random shout out, because we here on Trailer Hitch, we like to give random shout outs to cast and crew members because the top billed people tend to hog all the credit. So we would like to shout out Carl Dupreez, who was the set decorator. Hey, Carl, good job, bud. You set decorated that movie. I really hope that you got just like a chill job here where it's like, there's a horse outside, I'm done, and then you got to just like chill and collect a check.
Yeah, I mean that's all any of us can do in these trying times. Collect checks.
Now, before we talk about what's going on here, I cannot speak for my intrepid and newly married co-host. But I can certainly say that I am not in the target demographic for this. This definitely feels like it's a bit more oriented toward a younger audience, and specifically horse girls or boys. Like kids who are really, really fucking into horses and think that they're the best and like draw 'em.
Horse enthusiasts.
Horse enthusiasts, yes. Fans of the equine persuasion.
Of the younger variety.
Indeed. Yeah, and bear in mind, as we review this, I absolutely do not mean to disparage horse girls or horse boys. I have known horse girls who then grew into horse women, which now I say out loud, it makes it sound like I'm friends with centaurs. I just mean that, like, they used to be horse girls and then they grew up. All of them, lovely people. Now, with that in mind, if you yourself are not a horse girl or a horse boy or a horse non-binary person as well, what is this experience like watching Black Beauty? We start off with a horse. We got one single black horse in a field of other, I don't know, like brown and white horses. And it's galloping. It's all majestic and shit. And then suddenly a bunch of ranchers come and it gets captured. Oh no! And it gets captured and brought to this ranch. And in this ranch, we got like this older farmer guy who looks over at this horse and goes, yep, got another. And then he looks over and sees a young girl played by Mackenzie Foy, who seems like she's really bummed. And he goes to approach her and he's like, hey, bud, I understand you lost your family and that's really rough. Do you want to talk about it? And she goes, Uncle, I don't want to talk to you about it. And her uncle goes...
He said, fair enough. That's literally the question I asked, and you answered it very clearly.
Anyway, she's bummed as shit. Eventually, all these people on the ranch who aren't her are like, man, this black horse is like really cross with us. Don't know why.
I mean, we just took it from everything it knew.
Yeah, exactly. But then one day, Mackenzie Foy gets bored of looking at the photo of her dead family and sees this black horse and approaches it. It literally says out loud, hey, you lost your family. I lost my family. And then there's a shot where her foot steps forward. And then all of a sudden we cut to the horse's hoof. And then the horse's hoof also sort of like kicks forward as if it's mimicking her. And Mackenzie Foy is more or less like, we're not so different, you and I. And at that point, I really wanted a shot where we saw Mackenzie Foy in her room, lying on her bed with headphones on, listening to music. And then we pan over and you can see outside the horse is also lying on its back with headphones on, listening to music. But it's not that kind of trailer.
I like Linkin Park. Well, I like Jay-Z. What is collision course? We're one in the same. We're one in the
same. Yes, and so this girl connects with the horse. She leans in and says, I'm going to call you Black Beauty. Which, listen, given that she's 13, that's perfectly acceptable. But man, if she's like even 15, I'm like, bro, that's like, exert some creativity here. Even if it's just Seabiscuit Jr., just like some sort of wit. But like, you know what? Fuck it. She's 13. That's the color of the horse and she thinks it's beautiful. That's
it's only slightly better than Black Horse.
Just slightly. Like, at least it's sort of a compliment. That's the thing about naming the horse Black Beauty. She's like, I see so much of myself in you, but she gives it a name where it's like, oh, that's clearly a horse. It's not like she personifies it like, oh, I'm going to name you Chloe. Like, I'm going to give you a name so that way I can feel personally connected with you. It's like, no. Learn your fucking place, horse. So now that horse, she tames the fuck out of it. She is able to ride the horse. The farmer and the farm hands are like, man, she's the only one who can fucking do anything with the horse. I guess that's rad. And at one point, the old farmer says, I guess they say horses pick you. They really make a meal out of how big their connection is.
Yeah.
And that's when, all of a sudden, a sports car comes up. In these here parts, that can only mean trouble. And this rich motherfucker gets out and he goes, hey, that's a really cool horse. It's black and it's beautiful. Maybe I can figure out a name out of that. Anyway, can I buy that horse? And of course, Mackenzie Foy is devastated by this. She's hanging out with Black Beauty and she leans in really close and says, I don't want you to go. You're my family. And the look in the horse's eye all but says, bro, I'm a horse. Like, our relationship is entirely predicated on you giving me Salt Lick. If you don't do that, we're not cool anymore. She falls hard for this horse, and we get a lot of shots after that. The trailer goes into montage mode where we see her and the horse riding about. We get, not, when I say action set pieces, I mean it's basically glamour shots of her riding the horse, and it seems like she's a bit tense, which given the rest of the trailer makes sense. So maybe we can pull an inference where, oh no, like, you know, she helps the horse break out and they like go out and run away together or something like that, even though that's not necessarily explicitly stated within the trailer. That is a general inference you could make.
Like a Free Willy, but, you know, a horse.
Well, in that case, calling it Seabiscuit's perfect, right? If we're making the Free Willy comparison. Anyway, and then we end with a shot on the beach where Mackenzie Foy is riding the horse and she outstretches her arms. And then we get our big title card, Black Beauty. And I saw this trailer and was like, okay, I mean, like, this isn't for me. Like, and then all of a sudden the title card fades away. And then up comes one last title card. And it says Black Beauty, voiced by Academy Award winner Kate Winslet. And I went, are you fucking kidding me? They didn't at all indicate that the horse could talk, which definitely gives you the inference, oh no, that horse is only talking for one fucking scene in a dream sequence. But the fact that for that one scene, they got the reader's own Kate Winslet just made me smile. And so that is Black Beauty. So I have been talking for a bit now. James, give me your thoughts here. Where are you thinking?
Black Beauty was a thing I was mostly aware of. Like, I believe it's a book. It may have been read to me at some point, and I like recognize it, but I couldn't tell you anything about the book. There's obviously been other adaptations too. I probably have seen them, but couldn't tell you anything about those movies. So when this came along, I was like, okay. I wonder if like this will jar anything of like a Black Beauty memory of mine. And it didn't. I just watched this trailer and it more or less just washed over me. Like, it's nice. It's very nice. And like Kevin drummed on about, if you're into this, this could really be impactful for you. My little niece, Elizabeth, is obsessed with horses. That's really exciting. And this will be on Disney Plus for her to watch. And that's really great. It didn't feel super, super kiddie, which I also respected. It didn't feel like it was talking down to me a whole lot.
It's definitely going for melodrama, but like melodrama is obviously for adults too. So
yes. I think they were going for something that like you could watch as a family and it wouldn't be a complete bore for the adults, right? And I just didn't watch this trailer and go, wow, this looks good. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
But then that ending title card just makes you go, you lead with that, right? Like, you lead with that, and then you end with Kate Winslet's voice going, oh shit, or something like, I'm Black Beauty and I have a lot of things to say about this story. It's like
you end with Kate Winslet saying enough horsing around.
The card came up and I just was like, is that a typo? Why do you have the trailer? For all my memory anyway, for all intents and purposes, I don't ever remember Black Beauty having a voice in any adaptation. I don't remember. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's all just like humans getting connected to this horse. So what? So many questions, and one is like, it's Kate Winslet.
She has an Academy Award. Yeah.
I was like, was this a typo? Did whoever made this trailer accidentally say voice of Black Beauty instead of I don't know. I like, what?
Sometimes we'll talk about, like, if a second trailer comes out, we'll revisit stuff. But I know we normally don't talk about behind-the-scenes featurettes. If there's a behind-the-scenes featurette and it turns out Kate Winslet played Black Beauty in a mocap suit, we have to talk about that featurette. That's too good to pass up.
Absolutely. I mean, we've broken the rules a little bit in the past. Why not now? And for something like this, I have so many questions, and it ended on that, and you're just like, ends like it's no big deal. Like we didn't just drop this massive bombshell on you that Academy Award winning actress Kate Winslet and America's Heart. Is she even from America? Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah, I think she's English, yeah.
Sure, but America's Heart, Kate Winslet, from overseas, is playing the voice of Black Beauty like it's no big deal. Like we all saw it coming. We're not going to make a big deal about it. What are you doing?
Yeah, it was genuinely pretty silly. I feel like, listen, so far, if there's anything to be said about the trailers in 2020, it's that there have been some awesome rug pull moments in trailers this year. We had Ghost of War. We had Fat Man with its great mid-trailer rug pull, and you go, oh God, that's what this movie's about. And this, I think, probably pulls off best rug pull at the end of a trailer, where you're like, okay, I formed my opinion on it. Just going to stop this YouTube link. Wait a second, what? And it just completely makes you reevaluate everything you just saw. I give it credit. I know it's not necessarily the credit they're going for, but I give it credit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like this went from the most milquetoast, never need to see ever. not offensive, not horrible, but just like, no, thank you. To just, well, hang on now. I have to see more, right? You can't have that ending title card and not pique everyone's interest a little bit. So you could have no footage at all, just a teaser of like a sound effect of a horse running, and then just throw up the title card that says Academy Award winning Kate Winslet as the voice of Black Beauty, and I would go, need to see more.
Yeah, and honestly, that was what was genius about this trailer, was if they had put Kate Winslet's voice in this trailer, I probably would have gotten a nice little giggle out of it and then been like, okay, well, I'm done here. But they did the smart thing and they withheld Kate Winslet from the trailer, aside from one title card at the end. And now all of a sudden, both eyebrows shoot up and I go on. And then it doesn't go on. It's the end of the trailer.
It knows it got you. It knows it got you.
For the trailer itself, I do think that the trailer, for the most part, is constructed pretty well. I mean, like, especially if you are a fan of melodramas, especially if you are a horse kid. You mentioned your niece, James. Like, it would not surprise me if you sat down to watch this trailer with your niece and the trailer ended and she looked at you and is like, mark the date, buddy. I have 8 horse figurines. They're all out in the living room. I'm going to clutch most of them as I watch this with you.
Oh,
like,
8,
yeah,
Kevin,
totally.
That's a good joke. 8 horse figurines, more like 18.
Sure, yeah, bring them all out. She's got an entire fleet. And I assume that horse kid is going to have a ball watching this. And
she doesn't know who Kate Winslet is, though. She doesn't know why this is a big deal.
But that's for you. That's the thing. That's for you. She was hooked the second there was a horse on camera, James. But it didn't get you, did it? Not until Kate Winslet showed up. And now comes the hard part, which is, okay, well, what do we make of this now? Again, it's just for that title card. Like, just that title card at the end. I'm not joking. Yeah, man, fuck, it's a need to see more. How about you, James?
I mean, I said it before and I'll say it again. I was joking, but I wasn't joking. This is a need to see more for me because of that title card alone. I have loved Kate Winslet like forever. I just think she is so talented and so beautiful and just encapsulates everything that I get excited about going to the movies to see. She's just one of those actresses, and she can be really fucking funny too. It's just, I love her, and I always want her to win awards, and we need to figure out what kind of award she can win for Black Beauty. Because I just need to be rooting for Kate Winslet. That's just like my lot in life.
I still maintain, I really hope she mocapped the horse, and I hope the Oscar she wins is she's a part of the VFX team that takes the Oscar this year. And it's a bunch of VFX artists who should be getting their just due, by the way. And the entire time, Kate Winslet's just like hanging out in the back of the group, just fucking like tilting her head up, like kind of giving the what's up nod in the back. Just letting everyone know, oh, no, I didn't go anywhere, motherfucker. I was a horse.
She's gonna win Best Actress for her mocap work as Black Beauty, and Andy Serkis is gonna be like, what the fuck? I mean, come on.
Right, he's in like the way back of the auditorium. You just see him tearing up the fucking program, kicking the ground.
Gollum, you paved the way, okay?
All right. Well, that was Black Beauty. And listen, it sounds like with Black Beauty, we are going to have a particularly happy holiday. But will it be the happiest holiday? I don't think so. Not unless you have the film Happiest Holiday, which we'll be talking about the trailer for right now.
That was the never-ending lead-in into the happiest holiday.
I was like,
just kept going, Kevin.
I guess this could maybe work, but
no,
I feel like I have to stick the landing.
It's
perfect. Then I would say a sentence and be like, God damn it, no, that's not where the landing is. And then I had to keep going.
I'm so excited. I can't believe I'm finally going to meet everyone.
There's something that we should talk about. Hi. I didn't tell my parents I'm gay.
So who do they think I am?
This is Harper's orphan friend, Abby.
Yes, of course. They're there.
You're so brave. You don't need to be.
I cannot believe I've got all my daughters under one roof.
So her parents believe their straight daughter brought home her lesbian friend for Christmas?
Not exactly. They also think that I'm straight.
Have they ever met a lesbian?
Well, God darn it, I did it again. It's not happiest holiday, it's happiest season. And unfortunately, we're done with the horse trailer, so you can't say nay and still have it be sort of relevant. So,
you know Kevin, it's not going to be the last time we make that mistake.
It won't, probably not. I'm going to do my due diligence, though, because this is Happiest Season. This is directed by Clea Duvall, co-written by her and Mary Holland. This is starring Mackenzie Davis, Kristen Stewart, Alison Brie, Dan Levy, Aubrey Plaza, Mary Steenburgen, Victor Garber. Our random shout out is going to go to Brooke Lossing, who is the country club guest. Hey, Brooke, good job, bud. You're in the movie.
And you got into the country club. Good job. That's like, I guess
right. Yeah.
I've heard from movies and TV shows. I know that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I hope they paid for your membership. Okay. So what is Happiest Season, not holiday? Happiest Season is a romantic comedy, and not in the, I guess if you count a girl really liking a horse kind of romantic comedy. Genuinely, damn it, genuinely, this is a romantic comedy. Indeed set during the happiest season of all, which is the December area. I was about to say Christmas and was like, oh shit, that really makes it sound like Hanukkah's a drag. And it's not, but it's a Christmas movie. So anyway, it's Christmas. And we got Kristen Stewart with Mackenzie Davis, and they're a couple, and Kristen Stewart is super excited to meet Mackenzie Davis's family because she's really in love with her girlfriend, and she can't wait to meet the people who made someone who she loved, according to Kristen Stewart. She goes and hangs out with Dan Levy, and they share some banter together, and you can definitely feel like Kristen Stewart is really happy where she is in life. And then on the drive out to see Mackenzie Davis's family, Davis looks over and goes, hey, so just a heads up, I'm not out yet. Kristen Stewart goes, okay, who do they think I am then? And then she meets the family, and the family goes, oh my God, we heard so much about you. We're so sorry to hear that you're an orphan. And Kristen Stewart just has to go, yeah, it's rough, isn't it? And so she meets the family. She, ends up having like a pretty, kind of like an awkward time with them because she can't be herself. Like she has to hide her relationship from her girlfriend's parents. And then while they're out at one point, they end up running into Aubrey Plaza, which if there was an explicit line of dialogue, I'm sorry to say I missed it. I don't know if
there wasn't.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I have suspicions of what her character plays. Yeah,
I do too. I have suspicions that Aubrey Plaza plays Mackenzie Davis's ex in this.
Yes, I would guess that as well.
And so they run into her, and it's really tense and awkward. And then toward the end of the trailer, we get Mackenzie Davis talking. She's like, do you have any idea how painful it is to be hidden by the person who you love? And Mackenzie Davis says, well, you're not the one doing the hiding. I'm the one doing the hiding. Dan Levy's talking to Kristen Stewart, and Levy's advice is, just because she's not out yet doesn't mean that she doesn't love you. And when she's ready, she will. And you can still be there for her when she is. And that's sort of the note that we have to end on. There's definitely humor in the sense that like our ending button is Mackenzie Davis and Kristen Stewart in bed together. And then all of a sudden her parents knock on the door. And, oh, shit. And then all of a sudden one of them has to hide behind the door and get dressed. as the parents come in and into the room and go, oh, I just had to grab this. By the way, how's your morning going? That bed comfortable? And it's that sort of humor. It's basically the humor comes from the tension of, oh shit, are they going to be discovered at some point? And that's what we got going on with this trailer. At the gate, I watched this trailer, and within the first few seconds, I went, oh shit, it's a lesbian couple. That's really cool. Like, yeah, like a lesbian rom-com. Well, there had to be others, right? And then I sat and I wondered, and I was like, I think But I'm a Cheerleader is a lesbian rom. I haven't seen it though.
But see, I've never even heard of that.
I Googled it, and I'm not shitting you, James, and also folks listening. When I Googled lesbian romantic comedy, Chasing Amy came up. So needless to say, there's definitely a need for this kind of movie. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And like, especially once it got to that central conflict of, hey, I'm not out yet. You have to lie. Have fun. I thought that was a really good premise for a romantic comedy. And so like right out the gate, I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. I'm really rooting for this. And for me, it's like a lot of the humor, again, comes from that tension of will they, won't they end up discovering them. And I thought it was kind of hit or miss. Like sometimes I would giggle and sometimes I thought the jokes were good. I thought Dan Levy was actually pretty funny in this too. Because I know, in quotes, the gay best friend is a very stereotypical rom-com fixture. But I guess the fact that he's BFFs with a woman who's also gay kind of mitigated the blow for me, where it's like, well, I mean, you know, at least they're on like somewhat equal footing, you know? I was charmed by that last button. There is a joke about halfway through the trailer where Kristen Stewart has to run and hide from the mom, and the mom ends up finding her in a very small enclosed space. And you guessed it. The line of dialogue is, hey, what are you doing hiding in the closet? And I was like, I really feel like the expiration date for that type of joke ended in like 2007. But that's basically what you're getting. Now, I will say about this trailer, when you heard me describing it, you might have gotten interested. And the more I went on, you're like, wait, I feel like I shouldn't know that. Fuck, don't say that. Don't say that. Because yes, I do feel like this does give you a lot of the movie. But that said, I can't remember where I heard this from, but I remember hearing someone describing rom-coms one time and saying, no, the predictability is part of the appeal to them. Is it's like they're a place to go where you can get comfort, where
it's a comfort food of movie. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And that's why I love romantic comedies so much. Like, and I always have. I've always been a massive fan of them. I can attest to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I think, especially if you are a fan of the rom-com, then, oh my God, no, stop what you're doing right now and watch this, because I feel like you'll really get something out of it.
It's like watching a favorite movie. You're not watching a favorite movie because you're not going to find something like surprising and new in it. You're watching it because it makes you feel good when you watch it. And when you can get that feeling from something without ever having to watch it, that's exciting. You know, I don't think I'm going to get anything new out of Star Wars, Kevin, but I sure as hell watch it multiple times a year. So...
And that's really interesting to me, because I definitely am the type of person where I don't rewatch things super often. But like every once in a while I do, like I'll throw in some of my favorite movies. And I have a similar but different experience from you, where if I watch a movie that I really love, granted for me, it's always like been a year or two since I've seen it. But when I watch it, I usually do find something new, or I do make a new connection, and or maybe get a different appreciation for it. So
and that's great, but you're not watching it for that reason.
That's
like,
correct.
If you get it, if you get something new, oh, that's even better. But the idea is because it's comfort food, you know?
I don't know if that's how I'd call The Godfather, but it is comfort food to me, actually. You know what? Fuck it.
Everyone's got their own favorite dish. You know,
and mine's Italian. So, but enough talking about other movies. We're talking about Happiest season. And so, okay, James, as someone who is a huge rom-com guy, where are you at with this?
I was just relieved and happy to see this. And it was a trailer like you that it just felt so ridiculously refreshing to watch a trailer that was about a lesbian couple and it feels so normal. I've been saying this for a while. Kevin and I reviewed Love, Simon like way back in the day.
Yes.
And that was one that I think you pointed out a lot of like really, really excellent criticisms about it as a movie, and how, you know, it kind of follows a lot of tropey stuff with these kinds of movies. And you're right. but I'm just so excited that movies with gay and queer representation can focus on just doing what everyone else does. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's just so ridiculously refreshing. I just remember watching this trailer and going, oh, you know what? This reminds me of like Schitt's Creek and Dan Levy. And it's just like how they just like made it so normal. That's what everyone needs. Everyone needs to see this and just everyone acting normal to it. Right. And that's how you normalize this and get everyone on board with like treating people like human beings, is you normalize it. And this is how you do it. And Schitt's Creek was doing a great job with, oh, look, it's Dan Levy. And so that was kind of like my reaction. And I'm like, well, he's making things work. He's making things happen. So
yeah, and it is well, I guess I'll just time out to say like we're just gonna be two straight white guys just talking about representation and like how it works and all that stuff. Don't mind us. But
I'm not saying like I'm on the front lines with you and all that kind of stuff. But like I think we're pretty, progressive guys, and we like to see this. Like that's what it's about, and I'm just excited about it.
Yeah, and it's all I was really going to add is like, I definitely think now we are starting to get movies where sexuality is given like a forefront and it is dissected, and that in of itself is also good too, because it really hasn't been dissected too much in cinema. Or if it has, it's stuff like Serpico Rising. It's like underground stuff that you wouldn't know about unless, you're a dork like me and you have 1001 movies you must see before you die as a book you got as a gift one time. Otherwise,
hey, I got you that book, you jerk.
And I enjoy it. I clearly read it. That's how I know about Serpico Rising. But otherwise, for the most part, those movies were like very underground. And like we brought that up in this review. I said, but I'm a cheerleader. And you went, I've never even heard of that one. And like that just goes to show how not in the mainstream those representation in those movies are. Just like with movies that offer a sexuality that is anything other than heterosexual. And so like there are movies like Moonlight where it's like, this is a coming of age story, and a large part of it is the character's race and the character's sexuality. And those movies are really important too. But I wholeheartedly agree with you, James, that like it is also great when you get a movie where this is their sexuality, or this is their race, or this is their socioeconomic class, but also it's a romantic comedy, or it's a horror movie, or whatever it may be. I think that that's also really important too.
To answer your initial question too, what I'd like to do is, talk about this trailer like we would be talking about any other romantic comedy, even if it were about a straight couple. I think Kevin and I will kind of hit the same beats as we always do when we review movies like this, of Kevin being like, oh yeah, it's okay, it's good. It reveals a lot and like all that kind of stuff. And James being
I was prepping my throat to hit that note, by the
way. And James over here being like, well, this is my cup of tea. Like, this is my bag, man. So, and look, there's nothing changing my view on that. Like, this is my bag.
I do think that like Mackenzie Davis is definitely doing a good job with like kind of the charm that's required, because otherwise if you just told me like, oh yeah, I went to my girlfriend's house for Christmas and she hit me the entire time, I'd be like, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's really shitty, man.
Yeah, exactly. But then like seeing Mackenzie Davis do it, it's like you can feel that no, she does love Kristen Stewart in this.
Yeah, they're in their waters. She's trying to navigate herself. It's not like she knows what she's doing and doing a mean thing. She's trying to figure it out herself.
Aubrey Plaza isn't given a lot of time to speak in this, but like it does feel like she's not being April Ludgate in this. That's kind of cool to kind of see her flex a different muscle. And speaking of flexing a different muscle, we now have Kristen Stewart in a rom-com context. And it was kind of interesting seeing the couple I kind of felt like they were both in a similar, in quotes, mode. I don't know how I quite feel about that yet. For a rom-com context, there's usually like one of them's a klutz and the other one is like so perfect and put together. Like is that like the first trope that like kind of came to mind.
No, I got you.
And they're not going with that trope this time, which it's like, okay, cool. And like, certainly for my, hard to please ass, that's something that I give a thumbs up on. But that said, it did kind of feel like, at least in the context of this trailer, they both felt like pretty similar people to me, which is like cool in the sense of like, well, yeah, that means that to a degree, I am rooting for you guys to certainly be together. You guys are so much alike. But I think in the context of a narrative, I would like to see kind of like some level of differentiation in them in personality. And I didn't necessarily get that out of this trailer, but unless I missed something, I don't know if you caught something.
I guess I didn't track that as a thing. So I haven't put much thought into it, if that makes sense. So I can't, I feel like I can't comment one way or the other. It definitely wasn't something that bothered me though. So I didn't feel like they felt like carbon copies of each other.
And I wouldn't go so far as carbon copy. They felt like pretty similar in tone in how they interacted with each other.
And that's fair. And I didn't catch that, but I'm not saying it's not there. And yeah, if you can make your characters stand out from each other in a movie or TV show, yeah, that's the better way to go to get your audience to like really be able to. You only have 90 to 120 minutes to get your audience on board with these people and to remember them and be memorable. And easy way of doing that is making them very different from each other. That's not just romantic comedies, that's all film and television. So I think that is important, but I didn't really get a vibe that this one was in trouble for that.
Listen, it's time to ask James, is this the happiest season for you? Where are you giving this?
I'm so excited about this. So yeah, this is a need to see it for me. Maybe it's the thing that it's like it's the first kind of romantic comedy Christmas movie that we're kind of reviewing, which just has me in the mood, And maybe it's the fact that I just got married and I'm just like feeling very romantic these days. But
the people releasing trailers knew that, baby. We've already covered it.
They had my number. And I picked up and went, hey, let's do this. So need to see it. Yeah.
Awesome. This is a very, very solid need to see more out of me. Awesome. And not in like the Black Beauty kind of need to see more. I'm like, I definitely think that this looks cool. But I do think if there was another trailer where I went, oh, okay, I can use these 3 adjectives to describe Mackenzie Davis's character. I can use these 3 separate adjectives to describe Kristen Stewart's character. Yeah. I would honestly give it a need to see. What did you think of Happiest Season, which is definitely not called Happiest Holiday? What did you think of Black Beauty, which is definitely not called The Black Beauty? You can write in and let us know. If you want to send us an email, you can do so at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com. Or if you want to hit us up on Facebook, you can do that by just searching Trailer Hitch Podcast. You can send us a message, you can write on our wall, or you can do any of those things. But if you're kind of crunched on time and you only got like 280 characters worth of time, good news, we're on Twitter at Trailer Hitch Pod. Or if you only have enough time to take a quick picture and send it, we are on Instagram at Trailer Hitch Podcast. Before we go, we would like to thank Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name for the amazing intro that you hear at the top of every episode. We would like to thank Rachel Ashley for the amazing cover art that you see on our various social medias. You can find her work at Mighty Creations on Instagram. We would also like to thank Jenny Hawks, our bad movie and social media correspondent, for her sterling work week in, week out. And we would also like to thank Casey Clowers for the amazing outro, which you'll hear momentarily. Unless James has something to add? I don't know.
I mean, you forgot Jenny's newest title.
Roommate?
No, that's an old title, Kevin. She's my wife for crying out loud.
Roommate plus? Does it work like Apple, where now she just got a little plus after roommate?
All of it. It's like when you start collecting like degrees and doctorates and stuff. Just keep adding. Just keep adding.
She's got a PhD and being your roommate.
Yeah, still my roommate, but also my wife. And bad movie correspondent, and she's also a social media manager. Just she wears a lot of hats. So
she's got so many hats.
Yeah.
Mazel tov again, sir.
Thank you,
folks. We will see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
can't mount holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Oh boy, okay, guess who's back? All right. So you opened up a bottle of shitty wine.
It's not good. It's not good, Kevin. So I was Googling.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I was Googling how to make bad wine taste better.
Did it just say get other wine?
Well, it's just like, I don't want to throw this wine away, right?
Sure.
So it's like,
yeah.
How can I salvage this a little bit? It's never going to be great, but what can I do? And there were like three options, and I'm like, I'm going to try all three of those options.
But can you please go through those options? Because it's like, I don't know.
One was like a slice of lemon, which I don't have. So I just squirted some lemon juice.
Oh, Jesus.
It did something weird. So lemon juice in there. Okay, that was one. That was one. The other one said just a little bit of sugar. Add some sugar to it. So I didn't have that. So I had powdered sugar. So we did that. That looks weird. And then on top of it was just like, hey, make it cold. Cold, like if you make it cold, that'll help. So I threw it in the freezer. But then you called saying you were ready, and it is not cold yet.
Oh, okay.
So I have a powder, sugary,
lemony,
lemon zest, room temperature wine that I'm drinking out of a giant mug.
That's 2 out of 3. Does that make the wine taste better?
It does not, Kevin. It does not.
Oh, fuck. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You know what?
And that probably means that making it colder is the only way.
This is how we do honeymoon 2020. So